shadows in a lonely land. We're a band of pilgrims on the move, burdened down with sorrow, shunned on every hand, looking for a city built above.
Looking for a city where we'll never die. There the sacred beacons never say goodbye.
Good evening. This is the on the QT Quarantine Talk with Josher and El Jefe. We come live this evening from Jensen Lentz in Lentz, Oregon, which is southeast Portland. Just coming to say hello because we're stuck on lockdown and we have nothing else to do besides create entertainment. So Jeff is here to talk about some things today.
I am. Oh, I am. I wanted to give a Sandy Gate update. If you remember, we talked about, and it was on Facebook, the whole drama about the hand sanitizer. I just wanted to let you guys know that we started out with 48 bottles of hand sanitizer, and now we're down to 10. So I think we've done a really good job with passing it out to neighbors, friends, anybody who needs it. Back to you, Josh.
Well, hello. I'm still queuing up the audio because I want to hear the song some more. I just can't get enough of it, let me tell you. So we chose this song because we're pretty much sure that no one's going to complain that it's a copyright issue or whatnot, because pretty much no one's going to complain about an old gospel song, and we think it's quite fun. So
It is a fun song.
So I'm going to pause it now. Okay, so we started off this week with, we had a project for about 2 months we were waiting to get to. We had a dresser we were going to put together to put up in the lounge, we call it. It's like the communal space where the boys can play video games and whatnot. And so we finally got to put it together, and then we put it in the space where it's supposed to go, and it worked out great, except for you couldn't open the drawers. So that made it kind of useless, but it was kind of fun to see our long progression, and then all of a sudden, oh look, this is how life works. Because
And we debated it for a little bit. Josh was like, it's not going to fit. I'm like, it's going to fit. And we were both right. It fit, and it didn't fit because I couldn't open the drawers.
yeah, I mean, working is part of the process, I guess, when it comes to moving parts. So we both decided that we had to go back to the cubicles, which he felt like it was too kindergarten for him, but that's what we got to do at this time. So
I actually like it now because I can cram more of my clothes and stuff in the cubes. So since the boys moved in, we have storage space is a premium, and making room for all their stuff and Josh's stuff and my stuff. It was a challenge, but I really like the cubes. They work out really well.
we call it the open concept, like they do on HGTV, but it's not really open concept. So we took the closet doors off, and so it's very visually aesthetic and aesthetically pleasing. So also I spent pretty much the whole week in my pajamas, and it was kind of funny because like about a month and a half ago I was wearing the same ratty pajamas for like 5 years, and Jeff's just like, so you got to get rid of this raggedy ass hoodie. So I was like, but it's so comfortable and lives, and he's like, yeah, it's got to go. So we upped my pajama game, went to Old Navy and bought this like knitted hoodie and then some sweatpants / yoga pants. So technically I could go out to Winco and wear this, or Walmart and wear this kind of thing, because it's Southeast is what we do. So I'm glad that I upped my game on that because I'm living in these clothes now. So we have to have a calendar figured out for us and the boys as far as what we're wearing in shower time and whatnot. But with the boys it's a lot easier because after they go play outside, you realize they need a shower. So it's part of the process for sure. So when I originally started to think about doing this show, I wanted to do like a proper production, have a webcam, and have the back screen and whatnot. And it turned out that as I was trying to buy a webcam, this is like 3 weeks ago, I have it in my cart to buy it, and instead I go to purchase it, and it sold out. So I went to bestbuy.com, target.com. As I was actually buying them, they were like selling out instantly. So we're stuck here with the 4K iPhone, which is great because you can see every like pore or pore, I guess. That's his margarita pitcher, so got to keep him supplied. We went out to Winco today and we wore a mask for the first time, and it was kind of weird because I'm always trying to make eye contact with people and like smile at them. Now I'm just like, I feel like some sort of shady like chem warfare person or whatnot.
Speaking of masks, our friend David Beard has made these really cool masks for us. and they've got like this pocket so you can put a filter in there. So if you guys are needing a mask, he is selling them for $10. You can reach out to him online on Facebook, and if you can't find David's Facebook page, reach out to us and we'll make the connection.
We'll post a link at the end of this. But it's kind of awesome because it has like a little bear on it. So it's totes masculine, totes mask. Yeah. But it's kind of weird because I feel like when I talk, I have to move my lips a lot because I talk so fast. And I feel like that's kind of like a barrier when I talk to people. So last night we were hanging out. I'm doing my one-man dance party on weekends like I do. And I had my headphones on. Decided to play some 90s hip-hop. And then all of a sudden, like, my song came on. I go, oh, shit. And, like, Hefe was on the sofa sleeping, and he thought someone was in trouble or someone was hurt. And I was like, no, it's like, when the song came on, I have to, in the 90s is what you do. You just have to say that. And he's just like, what is wrong with this person? It was kind of hilarious because it's just like, he freaked out. And I'm just over here. Like, I'm having a jam, so.
It just caught me off guard. Wasn't a freak out.
Yeah. He goes, what's wrong with you? So, we have no idea how long this, what do you call it, COVID era is going to last, but we're like keeping our eyes on the prize and thinking about how everyone must be like us as far as trying to do home projects and whatnot. So we think at the end of this storm, there's going to be some awesome thrift shopping to be done because everyone's purging and whatnot. So hopefully he can find some of the Pyrex and I can find some random gadget that I never needed. So looking forward to that. And also, if anybody's doing that and they find some sort of technology that's still useful or whatnot, they can donate to freegeek.org, I believe. And it's been really awesome because you can buy stuff there, and they're doing a great program for kids for Portland Public Schools, because as of Monday, we're going to start doing like low grade, low budget telecourses. So it's going to be like, I think, was it 3 hours?
2 or 3 hours.
I think it's like 2 hours a day, and they want them to go do PE, which is, for us, it's going to be like rock band or punching bag or something, like go play in the yard. So it'll be pretty chill. So it'd be it'd be kind of great to see if somebody could give out like their old laptop or whatnot to help out this program, because these kids, like I would say maybe a quarter of them can't afford a laptop, but they are checking them out. But Free Geek is helping out, dole them out, and refreshing the old laptops and making it so the kids can like have their own thing and have a sense of pride, hopefully. So
normally Free Geek, you have to like kind of make a financial donation when you're doing these things too, and they're waiving all of those to help the kids of Portland Public Schools. But it's really easy to donate even during these times. I made a donation yesterday, and you call ahead, they put out a bin, you do not make any contact. The guy that was in the warehouse, we were about 15 feet from each other, and he asks your information. With the donation, they will email you a receipt. So it's a good way to, get a tax break while you're doing something good.
It was like Indiana Jones. You like had to like drop off the thing.
Well, it's totally Indiana Jones, except like it was in a Rubbermaid tote. Not some sort of like really cool. What was it? The
dungeon or something.
I'm thinking Goblet of Fire. I'm like, no, that's Harry Potter. So
throw me the whip. So yeah, it's been quite interesting for sure. As far as like the food goes, the kids don't mind the processed food, and Jeff's over here making like full-on meals, and they'd rather not be interrupted for video game time, and they'd rather eat a Hot Pocket. So they're both aficionados of the Hot Pocket versus the pizza rolls, and they love singing the theme song for the pizza rolls for some reason. It's pretty interesting. So that's where we're at now. We're kind of like trying to find the cute funniness and everything, but
you got to find the funny
for sure. But also, it's kind of also hard when you're hanging out the house and you got all this time on your hands and all these like this junk food to eat. So you're like, how many ice cream bars is like in a considerate portion for the day, because there's no one here to judge you, and there's also like nowhere to go as far as working out or exercising. So I try like once a day to go on the spin bike for 30 minutes, and
I'm doing push-ups.
So yeah, I'm trying to incorporate that in our daily routine, because if we don't have a routine, we kind of go nutty. Like our youngest is having hard problems with it because he like thrives on structure, and it's kind of difficult for him because there's no structure.
We can talk about it a minute. Donovan Luther has reactive attachment disorder. It's a really sad disorder, and he...
I drink because of that.
I drink because of that. It's and if you have time and you're interested, look it up. It is really sad. Technically, there's no cure, but you can offset some of the weird lack of attachment that he had as an infant. And so we do movie nights. We try to spend lots of time with him. We do dinner together every night as a family. Things like that help give him a sense of normalcy of what a real family is supposed to do. Some days we're making great strides. Other days it's just like backpedaling. And this was a rough week for us because there is that lack of structure. He really needs school, then Boys and Girls Club, and if we have therapy or drums or therapy again or basketball throughout the week. So right now all we're able to do from his old schedule is therapy twice a week through video conference and his drum lessons. So it's been really rough, and it kind of made us both really sit back and talk about things yesterday because Wednesday was a really rough day for us, and we recognize that if we're having problems and we're not like stressing out about things like a lot of other people are, I can only imagine a household that both parents are normally working one or two jobs and they're not always there for the kids, and now they're stressed out. How are we going to make rent? How are we going to feed our kids? So it really concerns me that for all of these other people out there that are really struggling with kids with mental health issues, that it's got to be devastating because this week was really rough on us. So the bright side or takeaway from it is recognizing that we do have it better than other people. So we're not saying piteous.
Hashtag blessed.
Yeah, we are. Hashtag blessed. It's just, it needs to be well made aware for people to really think about situations that are beyond other people's control. So if you can reach out to people that you know that have kids with trauma or behavioral issues, reach out to the parents because they need to hear it. They really do need to hear it. We're fortunate because we really keep open dialogue about it, and we have a really good network of friends and that we can reach out to who will just like tell us it's okay to be pissed off
and
right
they
now.
act like they never heard our story before, even though we said the same thing 20 times. They're like,
yeah,
oh, okay.
We're very fortunate that our friends really ignore the fact that we are on repeat, and we're really grateful for them. I know a lot of people don't have what we have, and times like this are really when it counts to count your blessings. And so thank you for everybody out there who loves us unconditionally.
What's
Warts
your
it all.
story? Yeah, it was like after the huge meltdown and whatnot, we realized like after processing all the drama, it was like, oh, the next day we're like, you know what? I hate to say that it's not his fault because it's kind of not, because he was in a situation, never been in a situation before, and no one else has either. So it's like, is it some sort of, critical, what do you call it, some characteristic trait, or is it just like the world we're in? So I'm like, imagine like if I was him, I do that a lot because I was like, what if that was me? And so I realized that it's just like he's got nothing to like keep everything in line and whatnot. So he's got like no idea what's next. So we try to make sure he's appeased with video game time and he earns it instead of just being like, staring at the screen all day long. So that way it's a treat for him. So
yeah. So enough about that.
Yeah. It's been quite interesting, but we're getting through it. Like I said, it was like takes a day to sort of process all that stuff. So
I don't know if you've noticed, he has not said anywho yet, and some of you are dying to take a drink, so let's pretend. Anywho.
You don't need help with that. So
I don't need help with that tonight.
So we talk about Winco yet?
We did not talk about Winco yet.
So I was talking about wearing the mask earlier, but we went to Winco today and it was kind of, I don't know, it drained me somehow. I normally never take naps, maybe like once or twice a month I take like a 10-minute nap, but I came home from Winco, I had to like just crash because I was like drained. I was running through the aisles and it was, no matter what you did, you could never stay 6 or 10 feet away from somebody because the aisles are not that big. And so it was like, my brain was just like way overwhelmed. And aside from the fact that I needed my beauty sleep because of all the marks from the masks, the N95 masks, but it was like somehow taxing, and for him it drives him nuts because he's got OCD anyways. So it's kind of like, I'm the germ freak, so I'm like, here, wipe this down, and he's doing that down, and he's like,
And I'm like, yeah, I'll wipe it down. I don't have a problem.
We're our own little sitcom walking through the store. It's like some weird Seinfeld episode or whatnot.
Yeah, it's crazy that people don't understand the 6 feet. It's like all of us know who an NBA player is. It's like they're over 6 feet. Most of them.
Okay.
keep a distance.
It's cultural too.
I had an incident this week in another grocery store where I actually had to tell a lady, you kind of suck at social distance and
Internet scandal number 2.
Internet scandal number 2. But what bothers me so much is Portland people who reside in Portland will totally get this. When you are at an intersection in Portland, and the light turns green, like maybe 3 cars can get through because there is like 6 to 8 feet between each car. And I'm like, you idiots can do it in cars? Can't you do it in a grocery store? It's not hard.
We don't say idiots though.
Okay. He doesn't say idiots. I say much worse things.
Yeah.
So,
he's born to road rage or something.
Anyway, anywho, drank. It is just kind of bizarre how people in Portland can like have that vehicle social distance, but not be able to do it in a store. And I'm just like, we were meant for this if you reside here. So come on, people, play along, do your part.
So like, my best takeaways out of this whole lockdown thing is that I'm learning to just chill out and realize there's nowhere else to go. So he's learning how to drink. Proud of him. So it's just like, also part of the, if everyone followed along in the store, it'd be kind of awesome to actually respect people's spaces, and like the tape on the floor is like not decoration. It'd be nice if people actually followed that. So I mean, there is to me the list is longer of the pros of all this, like all the benefits and whatnot, but the stuff that's like the small, as far as the list goes, it's like it's way more significant as far as importance to you. But I just try to look at all the pennies and dimes. How does it say?
Watch your nickels and dimes and quarters take care of themselves.
Whatever that means. I'm just saying that all these, I call it nickels and dimes, add up to this dollar bill of awesomeness, but then the $5 bill over here of all this shit that's not fun. But I just try to keep it all in perspective and weigh it all out. So, what else you got?
I have a brief comment about Governor Cuomo.
From New York.
From New York. Everybody's talking about his chest and working out, and I have a theory that right before he goes out to speak, he does what I call chump pumps. And it's what I used to do before going out to a club. You just do 15 push-ups, 15 to 20 push-ups to make your chest look a little bit bigger. I think that's what Governor Cuomo is doing.
And his face is always red, like in the we call old movies, they pinch their cheeks or something. His face is always flushed like that. So he's like, I'm fresh.
So that's just an observation I have about Governor Cuomo.
I never even heard the story.
I know
I just learned that Governor
Josh
Cuomo...
Josh doesn't really watch the news.
Well, I learned today Governor Cuomo's wife was the show. She does the cooking shows, and she's the one that goes 2 cups of vodka.
Glug, 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 glug.
So I'm like, that's my politics for the day. Because even though I work for the government and I'm quite interactive with it all, I don't want to know too much information, I guess. And
we don't really. I don't watch the news when Josh is in the room, and I don't watch it. I really try not to when the kids are in the room. It's the last,
lately,
it's kind of the last thing that they need to hear is everything going on, and so we're trying not to shelter them, and we do discuss what's going on and the importance of it. And every time they go out to ride their bike, we give them a list of don'ts. Don't go get a slushie. Don't go to the convenience store. Don't go to the park and play on the playground equipment. Just ride around the neighborhood. I know it sounds boring, but burn some energy, because anytime it's sunny we're trying to get the kids out in the yard.
You made me go out yesterday.
Yeah.
I was like, it's Oregon. It rains like 300 days of the year. 65 days can you just go outside for like 10 minutes and act like it's fun because it's all we get.
Yeah, so we are fortunate. We have an awesome neighbor directly behind us, Erica, and she has a regulation half-court basketball court, and we...
Hashtag blessed for that is awesome.
Yeah,
neighbor,
totally, because
if she's watching.
It gets, especially Luther, it allows him to burn the energy and to go over and just shoot hoops and improve his basketball skills. But we have had permission from her to let him play 45 minutes a day, and he climbs this little ladder that we put over the fence, and
It's very kindergarten.
it's kind of kindergarten, but it works. And again, we are grateful for so many people in our lives that really see what we're going through or what we're dealing with, and like, hey, I've got a basketball court. He wants to play basketball. We let him use it. So we're very fortunate.
It's kind of interesting because we have the pool, they have the basketball court, and our neighbors also have a trampoline. So it's like our own little like mega fun center, and our little back area. It's like a suburban dream. It's just kind of interesting.
Google Earth, probably, if you look at it, it's like, holy crap, there's it's
like Bullwinkles or something.
Yeah, kid fun park.
Buster's.
Dave and Buster's.
So it's funny to me too because he's like he's inherently into sports. To me as a kid, it was like sports was something you had to prove, and you had to like it's like something you have to like show. It's to me it was like my brain was wired to think there was like something like you'd have to do to show off or whatnot. For him, it's just who he wants to be, and he's not the best at it, but he's definitely trying. And watching his like earnestness about it all, and like his once you get him out there and he's having a good time, it's awesome to watch him actually, like, that's just who he is, and he's like in his element, and it's like really, that's where it's like the happy moment, where it's like you have to enjoy the happy moment, because when it happens, it's awesome, and you just have to savor it, kind of thing, because when the meltdowns happen, you forget about those, and it all comes down to the happy fun moments and whatnot.
He has been on a basketball team this year through Boys and Girls Club, and the first game he had, we were there for all of them, I think, and afterwards he was just like, so how'd I do? I'm like, you were the best member out there. And he was like, yeah, like, for the other team. But
he hustled.
He hustled, but whenever anybody would pass him the ball, he would just like pass it right back to him. He wouldn't take the shot. And I don't know a lot about sports.
Basketball you did.
But I grew up in Indiana, so you know a little bit about basketball, even if you don't know anything about basketball. Fortunately, I grew up in an area that was really basketball. And there's a guy from my hometown, Steve Alford. Name drop. And anybody who's from Indiana knows who Steve Alford is. He's like one of the basketball icon gods. And after his first game, he wanted to go practice, and I'm like, okay, here's the deal. If you
Here's the deal.
Here's the deal.
Here comes the lecture.
If you're going to go over there, don't pretend you're like some NBA star playing a game and shoots and scores. Like, get out there and really practice. Be beneficial to your team. And I have read so many articles in my hometown paper, the Courier-Times, about Steve Alford that I knew his basketball routine and how he would practice, and I just told him, I'm like, you know Steve Alford? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, Steve Alford, every day before high school, he would go into the gym and he would just stand and do free throw after free throw after free throw. And I told him, I'm like, your job right now is to go out and do 10 free throws in a row. When you can hit those, then come back in. But it's got to be 10. And then, an hour or so later, he came in and he's like, I did it. I'm like, all right, next time you go out, do 2 steps to the left. And then shoot.
Papa knows.
And then 2 steps to the right. And by the end of the season, his coach is like, he's the best member of his team. And I'm just like, yay! Gay Dad did something right. Because he
has a wicked soundtrack memorized. No kidding.
It was really kind of cool because, being able to express something athletic, which I really wasn't and haven't been.
Gravity's not our friend.
Yeah, other than like things like canoeing. I did win a fishing tournament once, but to really say I was a sporto, I wasn't. I was in marching band, which I have great memories of, and I was in color guard, and so it's like you're not really playing basketball if you're spinning a rifle or a flag. So for me to be able to do that, I was like, yeah, I've got this, and it was like really good for me to be able to be like that kind of, I guess, straight dad for the moment. To give him advice that paid off, and he's like, he has potential to be a decent basketball player. So yay!
And decent in the Midwest means like good. Here it means like C plus, minus, whatever. Decent to them means great. So yeah, I mean, I lettered my sophomore year in football, but it was because I was the water boy. So that was like, I had the letter. And this, it wasn't like the drama major, which I think should be like a whole new like brand, should be drama major. So because a lot of people should be wearing that label.
Well, at my high school, I think you can letter now in band. So I would have had a letter check.
So we keep talking about Luther. So we have a drum kit for Rock Band, and when we're playing the game, he's like totally into it and focused, but he's like, I won't say terrible at it, but then as soon as it's over, like the song's over, and he just starts to. This is like the solo, and I'm like, is this from Van Halen? What is this? He knows this song or something. It's just like his jam, and he just does it. So now we have him like, he just goes ahead and he just does the practice and whatnot, and so he just like owns it and has now we have the hi hats. So somebody let us borrow them, the little cymbals, and he's just going nuts with it.
Yeah, he is really good with it. So, and we're grateful for our friend Dan, who is his drum instructor and is just really awesome and kind of kid gloves him with it and just makes him feel like a little rock star. So
yeah, I have it set up where one of our spare iPhones is like they FaceTime each other instead of driving over there and everyone exposing each other. He's just like, as soon as I answer the call or whatever, we call each other, it's just like he's just like acting like, hey dude, how's it going? I'm just like, I hope he thinks think he's that awesome too. I mean, but I only see him, 75 hours a day or whatever, and he sees him like, for like just the 30 minutes, and he's acting like it's a rock star. So it's like just watching them interact, and as I walk away, it's just like that's one of the other happy moments too.
Yeah, he's usually pumped when he leaves drums, and darn it, he's got some talent. So
he's got mad skills. Like I said, if he's not playing the game, he's just.
And fortunately, we think that he'll get into Da Vinci Arts Middle School, where our oldest Dominic goes to, and Da Vinci is this amazing,
harmonious, proactive, other synergy words like that.
Totally synergy.
He like you could say like, for example, this didn't happen. Like, oh, it was unfortunate that they stabbed a student. It was just so terrible. We discussed it. We went over it. We're all good now. Like the way they talk about everything is like there should be like lava lamps and beanbags in the like principal's office. And it was like one of our, he got in trouble for a minute, not anything stabbing or anything, but it was like with the teacher, he's like, he got in trouble. Normally it's this is the repercussion, but for him we're gonna give him like a quarter of that because he's always great. I'm like, throw the book at him. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah, we're like, make him pay.
But then I'm like, well, that means he's got to stay home or be mad about something. I'm not going to throw that at him. It's like, I don't do like, I don't have to throw him under the bus kind of vibe in front of him.
It really messes up my apple cart because he's going to go to work with me on those days.
The day he got expelled.
The day he got, I was trying not to say it was suspended.
Oh, right.
But it was a lesson well learned for him, and he's not really given us much trouble since, especially since we do when we pick him up for therapy or something. I will show up earlier and I'm like, show me your locker. The whole office staff knows us. They like us, I think, because I bake cookies and you gotta bribe them, but it kind of benefits, and they're kind of like, yeah, go check his locker, because they understand his situation. We're very fortunate, again, that his school, all of his teachers understand the situation, and they're willing to work with things to make him hit milestones and be properly on point with the curriculum.
But they heard the backstory after like 6 months or so we're interacting with them, so they didn't like have to like think that he had some sort of label on him already. So they say, "Oh, okay, that makes sense now." Instead of like, "Here's this label walking through of all the backstory." So it was kind
I
of.
kind of don't think that school would do that anyway.
That's true.
You know,
it's refreshing though the way they interact with everybody.
Da Vinci is just a magical school.
School of Arts.
Yeah, if you've ever watched Fame, it's like that, but with hugs. So,
Right, and also they're like they're what do you call it? They're not claim to fame or whoever. One of their alumni was Jinx Monsoon. Oh, wasn't it? I'm sorry.
you're
So one of their alumni is Jinx Monsoon, which is an iconic drag
Wrong
queen. I'm
babe.
told. I don't follow that community that much. I know it's pretty awesome for a lot of people to like watch it. To them, it's like their sport because there's all this. I don't know if there's scorekeeping necessarily, but so it's just cool to see that somebody's like the gay community is like, this is awesome because they went there.
Yeah, Dominic doesn't like their PE because it's dance.
We said just do one little routine like for 10 seconds. He's like, yeah, I don't do that.
Yeah.
But then he starts talking about Fortnite, and then Fortnite they'll like be all excited because they paid extra. They can pay $10 so you can change the color of your screen and go like this, like this is Orange Justice or something like that. So, anywho, bad timing. Well, we appreciate you guys paying attention and tuning in, and we'll be here next week, same time. And we wanted to make sure we gave a shout out to the BFD, the Barefoot Den. Our friend Andy Kendig did the awesome graphic design of it, made the logo, established 2015. And we also have the wicking material with the smaller logo, so you can also like, show your chest off.
After you chump pump.
Chump pump.
Chump pump.
Hashtag blessed. Hashtag chump pump. But anywho,
Anywho.
thanks everybody for showing up, and we'll see you next week.
Next week. Be safe, everybody. Wash your hands.